The year is 1946, and the United States is experiencing an unprecedented period of economic success. Massive government investments in manufacturing and infrastructure, high taxes on the wealthiest Americans, and massive swaths of soldiers returning from war fuel growing wages and a healthy economy. The United States was quickly growing into a global center for technological innovation and upward mobility. This explosion of technical blue-collar industries gave rise to one of the largest and most stable middle classes in history, as well as the cultural icon that was the American factory worker. Depicted in media and advertising as the honest, hard-working backbone of American society, the American factory worker, or more broadly, those employed in manufacturing jobs, represented a massive 22% of non-farm labor by its peak in the 1970s. It was during this era that mass suburbanization and the plentiful growth of the U.S. manufacturing center came together to generate a working class capable of earning enough to purchase their own home and raise a family, all on a relatively average but still respectable salary. The future of the United States was looking bright. However, by 1980, the shifts in the economy and culture of the United States were already becoming clear, and it became obvious that the era of American prosperity was not going to last forever. As the decades following the end of World War II stretched into the Cold War, maturing industries, fueled by Cold War paranoia and aggressive cost-cutting measures, began the great trend of offshoring and outsourcing American labor and manufacturing to foreign nations where labor could be bought for significantly cheaper. At the center of this trend was the CEO of one of the largest and most innovative American industries of its time, General Electric's Jack Welch. Welch spearheaded the business strategy of outsourcing labor and manufacturing for the sake of quarterly profits. Welch became famous for his apparently incredible grasp of how to succeed in capitalism. Welch's widespread fame and economic success resulted in outsourcing rapidly growing from a limited practice to an industry business strategy during the 1980s, at the small cost of massive layoffs and significantly reduced product quality. As a result, blue-collar employment took a steep downturn, with auto manufacturing, railroad, and construction companies all turning their gaze internationally for low-cost labor and materials. From 1979 to 2009, the total manufacturing employment in the U.S. decreased by 50%, falling by almost 10 million workers in 30 years. The connections between trade work and modern images of success was beginning to fracture. The image of the hard-working factory man was replaced with the yuppie, a young, urban professional who pursued corporate status and lauded great wealth and intellectual achievement. As a greater share of manufacturing became outsourced, blue-collar work became less visible in the daily lives of the average American, furthering the disconnect between blue and white-collar workers that made dehumanizing them significantly easier. As blue-collar positions dwindled, the four-year degree quickly grew into one of the last accessible paths to a well-paying staple job in the public consciousness. However, as the cost of college continues to rise beyond the means of a growing number of Americans, the trade career was thrown a bone in the most ironic way possible.
Stay at home.
Stay home, stay safe.
Quite simply, stay at home.
Those with critically important skills, healthcare workers, transportation professionals, and trade workers, were officially recognized by the government and society at large for the first time in decades, through the Coronavirus Frontline Workers Fair Pay Act, a bill passed to incentivize essential workers to remain at their posts. While the bill was not as expansive as it could have been, offering less than desirable hazard pay for the level of risk essential workers face daily, the attention it brought to the crucial nature of blue-collar work mobilized both large-scale and grassroots workers' rights movements across the country. The growing negative treatment and systemic biases against the blue-collar workforce were put on full display in the face of global catastrophe. And for a brief moment in history, the true necessity of trade workers in our daily lives was revealed to the entire nation. It's unclear if this has left a lasting positive influence on the treatment and societal status of the blue-collar workforce. But it's notable that the rates of people changing their careers, specifically those under 25, towards the trades and away from the traditional four-year college path, demonstrates a greater understanding and interest in the critical career that is the trades. Additionally, union activity and the public approval of workers' unions showed significant boosts across the US, demonstrating an invaluable reconnection of the voices of the working class with public media. In the face of local and global catastrophes such as the COVID pandemic and the ever-increasing waves of climate-related disasters which wreak havoc on our dated infrastructure, it's important to keep in mind just how reliant we are on some of the hardest working and most underrepresented people in the United States.